years ago, Jemima Goldsmith met Imran Khan. She was the daughter of a British aristocratic family, and he was a famous Pakistani cricketer, popularly known as a Playboy. The duo married, and Jemima accepted his religion, converting to Islam a few months before her wedding. But was this a good decision for her? What happened next after she made all these sacrifices? Let's find out. Their first meeting and marriage. Jemima and Imran met at a time when love stories like theirs were almost unimaginable. The daughter of billionaire Sir James Goldsmith married a popular cricket player who had gotten a reputation for being a playboy. Jemima was 21 when her life took a dramatic turn. Imran Khan was the far opposite of Jemima. He was a global icon, a legend in the cricketing world.
We're moving on to Imran Khan, Mike, 38 with the bat, 22 with the ball himself, just like Miller.
Yeah, magnificent all-rounder. Imran Khan, I think a bit underrated, I really do.
When he led his country to victory in the 1992 Cricket World Cup, Imran Khan sealed his place in the heart of his country. Besides being a successful cricketer, Imran had the features of an eligible bachelor. This included a chiseled face, Oxford education, and charismatic presence. He became a sexual symbol. Imran leaned into that side of him, having multiple flings with fellow socialites, artists, and even journalists. But behind all of these, he was deeply interested in the social causes of his country. Then, their paths crossed. Some said they met through mutual friends during one of his visits to London. Others said they met at a charity event and instantly became struck with each other after one conversation. One thing we are certain about is the fact that their romance happened faster than anyone could have expected. Jemima was captivated by Khan's charisma and dedication to society, while Khan confessed that he was drawn to her charm and intelligence. He proposed to her on the second date. Jemima said yes, and both were engaged. Their engagement put both the British press and Pakistani citizens in shock. It should have been an eccentric union of the year, but when they announced their engagement, it stirred opposition from both families. Jemima's father, Sir James Goldsmith, was upset because his daughter chose a man twice her age and decided to convert to Islam. On the other hand, Imran's family did not hide that they wanted him to marry within their circle. Not only were the families both in opposition, but people wondered deeply how a Western woman would cope with the conservative cultures of the Eastern people. But Jemima was determined. A few months before her wedding, she converted to Islam and even had an Islamic name, Hakia, as if this was her way of announcing that she was ready for the cultures of the East. On 16th May 1995, Jemima Goldsmith and Imran Khan tied the knot in a Pakistani celebration called Nikah in the Goldsmith home in Paris. Their civil ceremony was held on the 21st of June, 1995. The civil ceremony was followed by a luxurious midsummer ball at Ormelet Lodge. The event recorded the presence of the high-profile people of the London Circle, including Princess Diana and many other celebrities. British newspapers were busy the next day, yet their stories were too small to frame the glamour of the wedding. Shortly after the wedding, Jemima moved to her husband's hometown, Lahore, in Pakistan. They could have lived anywhere except Pakistan, but Imran Khan had already clarified his intentions. Not living in Pakistan was a deal-breaker, which was one of the reasons most of his relationships were flings, because he had made it clear that residing in Pakistan was a requirement for a long-term commitment. In Lahore, Jemima took her commitment to her marriage one step further, changing her wardrobe and transforming from the British girl she was into a traditional Pakistani wife. To further show more commitment, Jemima learned to speak Urdu too. Then she took her husband's name and officially became Jemima Khan. Despite all these efforts, the dramatic shift took a toll on her. She had a hard time adapting to the keenly conservative way of life of the Khan's family because she was raised in a very wealthy British family.
Just men.
So
Are you mad? Are you crazy?
Yes, but I'll go and eat
Listen,
roast
no,
chicken
hold
at
on.
home and I won't get ill on that, so...
Love conquers all, doesn't it? Pakistanis gradually came to admire her resilience and determination to make it work, even though she wasn't universally accepted. Their marriage remained an object of ridicule to the British media. A year later, they had their first son, Sulaiman Isa. That same year, Imran founded a political party called the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, the likely beginning of marital strain. At first, Jemima showed her support by giving a speech at a rally, encouraging women to vote for her husband. Over time, what started as a step into Imran's lifelong dream to do more for his society became a strain on their marriage as Jemima began to feel lonely. Imran focused more on his political career. Apart from the strain on his marriage, Jemima also found it hard to adjust to the conservative Muslim environment. This decision to enter politics worried opposition parties and intelligence agencies so much that they began to use Jemima's Jewish heritage as a means to pull him out of the political race. Publicly, their image was the eccentric couple we once knew, but behind closed doors, the pressure piled up. While Imran was consumed by his ambitions, traveling, rallying, and strategizing, his wife felt isolated. Finding herself in a traditional society, she was expected to be demure and apolitical. But she was a Western woman who wanted to be involved in politics and the affairs of her country, whether Pakistan or Britain. She was slowly standing on a thin line between losing her identity and remaining loyal to the traditional wife she thought she could be. Every move she made was criticized. Even a simple speech at a charity event could spark a scandal. Hence, Jemima was walking on thin ice. But it was barely enough. Controversial accusations began to rise against her, which ultimately affected their marriage. First, it was the accusation that she was involved in a Zionist plan to take over the country. This caused doubts and second thoughts in the hearts of many citizens, such that there was a worldwide call for her Pakistani citizenship to be revoked. As if that was not enough, Jemima was also charged with smuggling. They said she illegally exported antique tiles in 1999. Unable to stay in Pakistan out of fear of being imprisoned, Jemima left for England to stay with her mother. Although she returned to Pakistan shortly after, the stress from the relentless opposition left her in a state of anxiety. The international and national gazes that followed her were passed on to her two sons, Sulaiman and Qasim. From the beginning, Jemima tried to adapt quickly. Eager to be accepted into the family and culture she readily entered through marriage. But no matter how hard she tried, her presence was marked with controversy, and therefore remained that way. She was faced with constant judgment as a mother or a public figure. Since they were in a society shaped by religious and rich social codes, Jemima and Imran wanted their sons to connect deeply to their Pakistani side. However, they couldn't ignore that these boys were of biracial origin. Whenever they made appearances, people discussed how they looked and spoke. They rated their lifestyles and questioned how Pakistani they were. Coupled with all of this was that Imran Khan's political career was growing stronger. Jemima found herself raising her children in a home that was increasingly politicized. With every step deeper into his political career, the scrutiny intensified. She was no longer just a white British woman married to their beloved son. She was accused of being a part of a political scheme. Their love, which once defied familial oppositions and borders, was now struggling under the weight of politics, culture, and scrutiny. In the 6th month of 2004, a love story that had begun so unexpectedly finally ended. Jemima said it was a unanimous decision to end their marriage. Meanwhile, Imran confessed that he had the hardest time 6 months before and 6 months after the divorce. It was as if he wasn't ready for the excruciating loneliness because Jemima had returned to Britain with their 2 sons. According to the divorce settlement, the boys will visit him in Pakistan during school holidays. When he's in London, he stays with his former mother-in-law, Lady Annabel Goldsmith. This shows that Jemima and Khan are still on good terms and that their divorce is truly mutual. Jemima and Imran. After the divorce, Jemima returned to the UK after her divorce in 2004. She quietly resumed her life, making all efforts to stay private. She had now re-entered the social circles of London, but not just as a socialite, but as a single mother who had stepped outside her comfort zone. Even though she was just in her 30s, the experience had a lasting impact on her. Even after her divorce, Jemima's romantic life was still up for discussion. Her very first romantic involvement happened with the actor Hugh Grant. The couple began dating not long after she returned to England. This relationship made more sense to the public. They were both British, both high-profile, and both sharp-witted. Yet, both are very private despite their fame. Their relationship lasted about 3 years, and despite all attempts to probe and poke, they kept it very private. Although they were often seen together at film premieres and charity events, Jemima and Hugh never took their relationship to another level. According to The Standard, Hugh and Jemima never had a smooth affair. There were rumors that Grant maintained a close relationship with his ex-girlfriend, Elizabeth Hurley, which could have been one of the reasons for their constant rumors of breakups. Jemima became involved with a British comedian and actor, Russell Brand. Now, this relationship was controversial. Russell Brand was known to openly talk about his pursuit for pleasure. People talked, but it wouldn't be the first time. This particular relationship was short-lived. Maybe the brow lifts when she ventured into romance made Jemima completely stay away from dating, and she never remarried either. Meanwhile, her former husband, Imran Khan, has been married twice since their divorce. As a man who has consistently remained in the public eye as a political figure, his romantic relationships have become a topic to feast on for the media. As Khan had always been known for his involvement with women, there were no surprises when he announced his marriage to Reham Khan in 2015. This was his first significant relationship since his divorce. Reham Khan was a British Pakistani journalist known for her fierce media presence. Their union in 2015 took people by surprise and made them wonder if this was some sort of political alliance. Was Reham a means of making Imran Khan's international public image? Or was he hoping to expand the modernity of his political career? The marriage ended before the media could squeeze the answer from either of them. From the outset, the relationship was more of a sensation. Analysts gathered for debates and discussions. Khan remained relevant, but it seemed Reham was losing out. She was known to be extremely modern. Hence, marrying Imran Khan made people question whether she could cope with the traditional lifestyle of being with Khan. Soon, their partnership began to shatter. The differences in their response to public scrutiny and societal pressures created rifts that made their marriage difficult to maintain. As sensational as the marriage seemed, so was their divorce. The divorce echoed across headlines. Both supporters and critics could not believe that their marriage would end so soon. But it didn't just end there. People began to ponder if anything was gained. For the sacrifices they seemed to have made to be with each other, their marriage only lasted 8 months. After his failed union with Reham, Imran decided to go for a more stable relationship. In 2018, he married Bushra Bibi. Imran had once said that if he married Bushra Bibi, he felt like he would become the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Since Bushra was just a spiritual advisor with no political affiliations, his statement was more of Bushra granting him spiritual favors. Compared to his marriage with Reham, Bushra Bibi is more introspective and calm. Her influence on Imran Khan can be seen as transformative, helping him balance his ambitious nature with a journey toward inner peace. His marriage with Bushra must be the quietest he has ever had, perhaps because she has a reputation for discretion and spiritual aura. Early life. Jemima Marcel Goldsmith is the daughter of one of the old money families in Great Britain. She was born in Chelsea, London, to Lady Annabel Goldsmith and Sir James Goldsmith, while her mother, Annabel Goldsmith, is the daughter of the 8th Marquess of London, an Anglo-Irish family with very wealthy roots. Sir James was the son of Major Frank Goldsmith, a luxurious hotel tycoon and a former Conservative Member of Parliament who was a member of the Goldsmith family, traced back to a German Jewish descent. Even though Jemima's parents were married to different partners when she was born, they had to get married in 1978 to legitimize Jemima's birth and that of her 2 younger siblings, Zach and Ben Goldsmith. Jemima also has 5 other siblings from her mother's marriage, including Robin Burley and India Jane Burley. Jemima was born into a notable family of aristocrats and political elites, so she enrolled at the University of Bristol to study English in 1993. But unfortunately, she dropped out 2 years later due to her marriage at the young age of 21. Career. Jemima Goldsmith has had a long list of achievements and accomplishments in different aspects of her career throughout her 51 years of life, from film, television, and theater to journalism, activism, and philanthropy. Jemima can be called a great success and a recognized leader. In 2015, she dived into film production and founded a production company called Instinct Productions. This company specializes in documentaries and film production. Jemima Goldsmith was nominated for an Emmy Award as Best Executive Producer in the documentary The Clinton Affair. When she filmed a TV documentary for Sky Atlantic and HBO about the Adnan Syed case, she was again nominated for an Emmy Award. This series was inspired by the Serial podcast and directed by Amy Berg. Jemima's successes in the film industry are too numerous to mention. Still, we cannot fail to mention her contribution as a producer on the Golden Globe and Emmy-nominated series called Impeachment. Despite all these accomplishments in productions, Jemima is also a writer. The film What's Love Got to Do with It, which won Best Comedy at the 2022 Rome Film Festival, was written and produced by her. In 2023, the film won 4 out of 9 nominations at the National Film Awards: Best Screenplay, Best British Film, Best Director, and Best Supporting Actor. Let's not forget her involvement with Imran Khan. She produced a documentary short about children with intellectual disabilities in rural Pakistan, an Emmy-nominated documentary called As Far as They Run. But films and documentaries are not all she has done in the British film industry. In 2014, Goldsmith produced a hit podcast called A Muslim and a New Go There. This podcast reached number 2 in the Apple charts and was nominated for 2 awards by the British Podcast Awards, including News and Current Affairs. This brings us to Jemima's involvement in journalism. Although she wrote several articles while living in Pakistan, Jemima Goldsmith wrote for the United Kingdom's newspapers and magazines like The Sunday Times, The Observer, and The Independent. Her op-eds were both analytical and reflective, and in 2008 she had an exclusive interview with Pervez Musharraf, the Pakistani president that year. She was a Sunday Telegraph columnist from 2007 to 2008. Then she became a feature writer and a contributing editor for British Vogue from 2008 to 2011. That same year, she was appointed Vanity Fair's European Editor-at-Large. Nick Cohen in The Observer said that Jemima was the best editor that the New Statesman Journal has ever had. In 2011, she became an associate editor of the journal. Jemima and Imran. Today, Imran Khan and Jemima Goldsmith followed opposite paths after their divorce. Imran Khan remained a towering political figure in Pakistan. In 2018, he served as a prime minister until 2023. His political party, which started as a controversial movement, is now one of the largest parties in Pakistan. Despite facing legal challenges and intense scrutiny, he remains an influence in the party. To supporters, he's a reformist. To critics, he's a controversial populist. But generally, he remains in the spotlight, and his voice remains one of the most recognized in Pakistan. On the other hand, Jemima reinvented herself and avoided celebrity gossip. Occasionally, she appears at high-profile events, but generally, she keeps her personal life highly private. We may be unable to put Jemima's successes in one video, but her philanthropy and activism preceded her. Her philanthropic work began as early as 2001, when she was still in her 20s. It goes back to 1998 when she launched a fashion home that employed poor Pakistani women. These women used Eastern handiwork to embroider Western clothes. These clothes were sold in London and New York, and their profits were donated to the Shankar Khanum Memorial Cancer Hospital. This fashion home had to shut down in December 2001 when the attacks on Pakistan happened on September 11th. In 2008, she modeled a Zaro Couture fragrance and became a co-designer of their Spring 2009 collection. It is reported that the money she received on this project was donated to UNICEF. While married to Imran Khan, she founded a refugee camp to provide Afghan refugees with tents, clothing, food, and health care. In addition to her charitable work, Jemima has campaigned against wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. She took a stand for freedom of information. In 2024, Jemima produced a hit podcast called A Muslim and a Jew Go There that was nominated for Best New Podcast and News and Current Affairs. The podcast was so informative and enlightening that it was dubbed Civilized and Civilizing by The Guardian, while the Evening Standard called it an antidote to the tribalism online. There is a major difference between Jemima today and the Jemima who married the Muslim sportsman Playboy 30 years ago. Back then, she was desperately conforming to being a Pakistani traditional wife, merely able to move an inch without being forced down. To worsen, she almost became a stumbling block to her husband. But today, she has achieved so much as a single mother of two that we cannot help but wonder, what if she didn't divorce Imran Khan? The world has seen its fair share of high-profile marriages and divorces, but when the daughter of the billionaire Sir James Goldsmith chose Imran Khan, a player both on the field and off, it left millions of people perplexed. As we can see, she didn't just choose him. She readily let go of the life she knew and ventured into an unknown journey that lasted almost a decade. What is your take on this high-profile marriage and divorce? Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Before you go, click on the video displayed on your screen.